What's going on, guys? It's another time for the RPO College Football Podcast. I'm your humble host, Jerome Jones. We got my man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great, man. Me and Ray was having a good laugh a second ago. Um, we got a lot to talk about, and I'm ready to talk about it, man. So, like Jay-Z said, it's about to go down. So we got some comments in here, man. Avery, yeah, roll tide forever. Okay, we're gonna talk about that soon. What's up, Avery? Dog, appreciate you being there. How you
Yeah,
doing, man?
what's up there, Avery?
Miss seeing you in the podcast, man. Miss seeing you in the podcast, man. I gotta get that going. But let's talk about it. Alabama falls to Tennessee. I think it's the first time in how many years, Ray?
2 minutes.
Woo. Been a minute. Been a minute. Glad you get around. Thank you, Avery. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. We in the building. We doing some great stuff, man. And I'm doing good. If you know, you know. But we're not gonna linger on that. Alabama falling to Tennessee, man. It's me. Without even saying it, me and Ray was like, there's a lot, some good stuff to talk about today, and we just like cracking up, just cracking up. Um, as you guys know, we don't like Alabama, so when they do fall, it's pretty funny. Let's talk about it though, right? But you know, with all the last and all the stuff beside, it was a really good game, really close game. Um, it was a 52-49 game. Came down to the last minute. The fans roared onto the field. My man Luke Winston was there. Shout out to Luke for being there and being there live. Took down the field goal stands, threw one in the river, took one home. What do you think about this game, Ray? What was your overall thought?
Not much defense being played anywhere.
That is true, especially for an Alabama team that's supposed to be
That's
good at defense.
that's the surprising part there. And I'm not surprised that Tennessee scored points because they do have a good offense, but
Yeah,
52 points? Wow. When's the last time Alabama gave up 50 points?
yeah, definitely.
I mean,
Um,
wow.
Avery said 5 touchdowns. Yeah, 5 touchdowns to one guy is bad coaching. Saban and Golden. Yeah, their receiver, what's his name?
Jalen Hyatt.
Jared Hollins, 5 touchdowns, six
Yep.
receptions, 207 yards,
Average
insane numbers.
average almost 35 yards of reception.
Yeah, literally.
Again, cornerback guru like Nick Saban, you wouldn't think something like that would happen. But
Exactly.
hey, it happens to the best of them, man.
Yeah, it was funny because we was talking about this game last week, and Avery says got to eat that. Yeah, yeah. It was funny. We were talking about this game, and we was like, we both took Alabama and won the game. One thing as I said is that I will be very wary about it because if Bryce Young wasn't playing and Monroe was playing, I believe that's his last name. Monroe was playing. I will be a little bit closer in that game. But Bryce Young did play, and it was a 21-0 game at one point of the game. So, and I think at halftime it was 20, 29, 28 at halftime. So, to see how Tennessee just came out the gates just storming, and Alabama didn't have any answers right away. What was your take on that, Ray?
Again, very sloppy defensive back play. Didn't cover anybody very well. Yeah, man, Josh Heupel is a good offensive mind. He absolutely is, and he showed it last Saturday for sure. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah, it was very odd to see. I mean, it was the things that you wouldn't expect Alabama to um, be bad at. They were bad at it, and Tennessee, all credit to Tennessee. They had a lot of confidence going in. I was, read up on a lot of how the fan base was like super confident in the game. They were riled up. They was ready to go. Facebook user, I believe this is Remy again. He says, "Yeah, go Vols." Remaining two starting quarterbacks, starting safety, and linebackers, all American wide receiver, all didn't play. Still beat Alabama. Yeah, man. Yeah, there's missing a lot of pieces, man. So credit to Tennessee for having a good game plan.
We keep talking about how Tennessee is that one team to where they could actually get back to where they used to be a few years ago because they're a good roster, and the coach is a good coach. I mean, he's a very good offensive mind. So I'm not surprised that they score points. I'm surprised that Alabama gave up 52 because usually you don't see them. You'll see them struggle for periods, but not for a whole game like that.
Correct. Yeah, Avery says that's on the coaches, man. The DBs were getting cooked, but the coaching had to be adjusted. It was bad outing all around. I agree. Avery, and you being an Alabama fan, that's very atypical of them. It really, really is. So it was kind of you can blame the coaches, but at the same time, they're usually so consistent with it. It's hard to just be like get super mad at them at the same time, if that makes sense.
I mean, like you've seen Alabama lose games early like this, though, and rebound from it. So I'd be really surprised if it falls apart. I don't think that's going to happen. I just think they had a bad game. Remember a few years ago against Texas A&M, they just have that one game where they kind of just let down and they reestablish themselves usually.
Yeah,
I'm hoping they don't because I would rather Alabama not win again, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the rest of the season go. But I gotta ask a question, Ray. It's the Volunteers. Are they the new kings of the SEC? And if not, could they be?
I would not call them the kings of the SEC, but I do think that they are very good. They've been a good college program for a while now, and I think they could be the next team to Alabama when it's all said and done.
Because they still got to play. They still got. I mean, we're skipping ahead a little bit, but they still got to play Georgia at the end of the year.
They do, but I don't think if they put the same offensive game plan against Georgia, it won't be 52 points. But Georgia doesn't score a lot of points, so I think they can absolutely beat them without a doubt. So I do.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun to look at later on down the line and seeing that. But let's get to our next segment because my Michigan guys are doing their thing, man. They're doing their thing and they're going it with Blake Corum right now, man. He's looking really well. He's consistent no matter who they're playing. They had just played Penn State, a top team, hot team too. And they really sold out to stop the run, and they still couldn't stop the run. A lot of people are putting Blake Corum in that Heisman category, right? So, first and foremost, what do you think about the game?
I think Michigan established himself as that running team, man. 418 yards rushing speaks for itself. I mean, Corum and your buddy Donovan Edwards finally had a breakout game, and they can give them both get them involved in the running game. I think I can't see why anything should change for them. And Penn State's a pretty good defense, and they manhandled them up front. So,
no, definitely, and took that time of possession, kicked the ball out the offensive hand. Not that I don't think they needed to. I'm not a big Clifford fan anyway. So, Clifford only had 19 attempts. Okay.
No one's a Clifford fan except for the few closet Penn State fans that actually think he can play.
That's funny.
he can't. Man. He's not good.
I wasn't expecting this kind of game though. Honestly, right? It looked like it was very close in the beginning. It was 16-14 at halftime, and we just kept running and tired our defense out. But let's get to the original question. Blake Corum, man, get some Heisman consideration. Would you put him in that consideration?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Kid's a player, man.
Yeah, I seen a stat that within the first 7 weeks of the season, he has better Heisman records than the previous two Heisman running backs, which was Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram. If I'm not mistaken.
There's only one Derrick Henry, but
yeah,
he's a good player, man. He's a good running back. He's a little short, squatty, so you have a hard time seeing him when he comes through the line. And then
He's definitely different from the other two because he's more of a scat back than those guys.
I don't know if I would call him a scat back. He's just like he's not a huge guy.
Yeah.
And he does like he's powerful for his size. So
he is. Yeah, I agree with that. I like the fact that we're running, and I said this before, and I would love to see JJ McCaffrey have to take over a game, but like if you're running that well, why not keep moving? And like you said too, Donovan Edwards had a breakout game, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns as well. So Edwards 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Corum 166 with 2 touchdowns. That's insane. That's such a good back-to-back running back combo that I was looking for at the beginning of the season, honestly. So I love it, man. And then you got JJ who can, get out there on the RPOs and run himself.
Mm-hmm.
He had 57 yards as well. So that combination is just lethal, I think, right now. And if we keep up with this offensive line, nobody get injured, and then sprinkle in some passes here and there, I think we'd be fine, Ray.
I agree. I think that Michigan's offensive line played really well in this game.
Yeah,
pretty much manhandled Penn State's front four.
And I think my biggest surprise with my team is that the defensive line. I mean, they're playing team defensive line play. Like last year, it was all Hutchinson and Ojabo. Now they're like it's everybody on the field. Getting sacks, getting pressure, things like that, and it's really rounding out this team a lot, I think.
Yeah, it's really impressive right now how well they're playing on offense.
If Tennessee loses to Georgia, do they still keep their playoff spot?
Depends on what the score is.
Yeah, I think it just depends on who's there at the top. Obviously, it's gonna be either Michigan or Ohio State. You're gonna have Georgia up there. If they Georgia does win that game, they're gonna be the number 1 seed. It depends. If Alabama do what they're supposed to do the rest of the year and don't lose again, and then Tennessee loses, I see Alabama jumping right back in the playoffs.
I agree with that.
Yeah, especially because Tennessee plays Georgia later in the year too, so that doesn't help.
Play them November 5th, so basically like 3 weeks away.
3 weeks away, yeah. So, yeah, they play them. If they lose there, and like I said, Alabama, I don't know what's Alabama's schedule, and I'll look it up right now. But I'm looking at it now. So this week they got Mississippi State. I still think they should win that. LSU.
They probably won't lose a game again until the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, Ole Miss, LSU. What's AP again?
Austin
Peay. And Auburn. So they shouldn't lose again. So yeah, I will say
the game at Mississippi State will be a game where they get tested a little bit. They should win. So
yeah, and then it'll just come down to the SEC championship, and if that's the case, I would say that Alabama will play Georgia in the championship. I would think.
I would think so too, but we'll see.
Yeah. So it all depends how the season kind of wraps up. I mean, let me see what Tennessee got.
Georgia plays Tennessee or no? They do, right? The 5th. Right.
Georgia plays Tennessee.
That game could be for whoever represents the other half of the SEC then.
Yeah, because honestly, the remaining schedule for Tennessee is not hot. I mean, they play NT Martin, they play Kentucky, they play Georgia, they play Mizzou, they play South Carolina, and Vandy. So I think they might have to beat Georgia.
They have to, yeah.
Yeah. Especially if Alabama plays the way they should and complete the rest of the year. Never know what happens though. It is football, but yeah, man, it will be very interesting to see how that the last couple of weeks go. Now that Tennessee kind of snuck up into the top 4, so
I'm a little disappointed that Georgia and Alabama don't play each other this year, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, happens every year though.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
but
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's talk about the rest of the schedule. Let's talk about the rest. We're gonna go to let's do Notre Dame, man. Let's talk about your team. Um, Notre Dame versus Stanford. Um, Stanford beating Notre Dame. That's just don't even sound right? What happened? I know you watched it.
We played a horrible game. Our offense
Yeah.
was horrible. Our defense was just off balance enough to lose a game. They didn't really do anything exceptional on offense. Notre Dame played like they were Stanford and tried to run a lot and didn't do anything on offense. I mean, it was a horrible. They kind of put the game on Drew Pine's shoulders like he's that guy, and he's just not. So
Yeah.
it was an ugly game without a doubt.
Yeah. 13 for 27, 151 yards. He did have a touchdown, no interceptions. But yeah, Stanford kept the ball in their hands as much as they could. It was like you said, it wasn't that. I don't think Stanford did anything special, like you said. It was just dink and dunk stuff, nothing like crazy over the top or anything like that. Running efficiently. But Notre Dame's, like you said, Notre Dame's offense just really couldn't get it done.
Again, they coached like they had Stanford's offense, and that's what happens. They played down to the level of competition. I mean, they really. Tommy Rees has done a good job the last couple of years, but now a lot of people are calling for him to be let go or replaced. We'll see what happens there, but it was an ugly game. I mean, really, there wasn't no turnovers. It just was an ugly game.
Yeah. The fact that Stanford only had one touchdown and it was all field goals after that, and you guys just could not punch in. You punched in 2 touchdowns, which was nice, but then y'all couldn't do anything earlier than that to help that out.
You're playing a team in Stanford that's averaging 31 points against the last 2 years, and you score 14. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
they played like they were Stanford. No, and there's a lot of people that say Notre Dame doesn't have a lot of speed. They have way more speed than Stanford, but you just couldn't tell because everything. I mean, the last play of the game, Notre Dame has the ball, and it's fourth and 8. The guy runs a 5-yard route and then stops and turns. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? It was 4th and 8, and you run a 5-yard route, and it's not even a route where he's running, he's turning and stopping like this and looking for the ball, and it's like, even if you catch that ball, the game's over. Yeah. So what are you doing? Like, I mean, people want to kill. They want to kill Drew Pine. I don't. I mean, you ask Drew Pine to do things he's not capable of. I don't. Mm-hmm. I wish I knew what the game plan was because it didn't look like a smart game plan at all. I mean, again, they're not running routes where guys are running open. They're like running routes where like everybody's a possession guy. And again, Notre Dame's not extremely fast, but they're way faster than Stanford, but they just didn't play them.
Oh yeah, and I feel like they did a good job on your tight end. What's his name?
Michael Myers.
Yeah, they kept him in check. I mean, 10 targets, but only 5 receptions, 60 yards. They kept him in check as much as possible.
I mean, he's the only guy that it seemed like Drew Pine had any confidence in. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tobias Merriweather is a good receiver and he's fast. He catches one ball and he scores. Shocking. I mean, like you're playing an offense where you're like a deep post, one deep post for the whole game you hit against a team that's not fast. I mean, I wish I had an idea of what they were trying to do on offense, but I really don't. It seemed like Drew Pine, every time he got in trouble, he was looking for Michael Mayer, which is fine.
Yeah.
But again, like he can't be the only option on every play because he's a tight end.
Correct.
And they had a lot of dumb ticky-tack penalties and I don't blame officials for losses, though. There are a lot of Notre Dame fans that want to say the officials lost the game. They play. No. We lost the game.
Yeah.
The officials didn't help, but we lost the game.
So. Yeah, and I love that mindset because you can't let the officials dictate your game.
Nah,
You know, you got to still play your
again,
game. So,
the last play of the game, and it shouldn't have been up to the last play of the game. You run a 5 yard turn and stop, and you needed 8 or 9 yards for a first down. So again, I mean that play basically is a microcosm of the whole game.
correct.
The game plan wasn't there. That's all there was to it.
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree. All right, let's get to the next game. And man, oh man, Utah versus UNC. Wow. Okay, so
We both took Southern Cal in that game, didn't we? Of course we did.
Yep.
I told you I should bet opposite of you. Whatever you
That's the second time you didn't do it. You just kept
I know.
right?
I really thought USC would learn something, and no, man, they lost by a point. So it wasn't like it's funny though. Every time we talk about how close some of these games are, this was a really close game, and it was a good game. It really was a good game. It was a fun game to watch, but I just expected a little more from USC. I did so.
Yeah, USC came out rolling. I think they kind of knocked down. Caleb Williams had a great game. I mean, 25 for 42, 381 yards, 5 touchdowns. Defense, again, unlike Utah, defense is not there for Utah this year. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, they're struggling on offense, which they haven't been. But their offense has been doing their thing. Cameron Rising, I have to find a way to get an interview with him. I really like him. 29 for 30, 43, 415 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 on the ground. The kid's good, man.
He's good, man. He played his rear end off for sure. So
yeah.
Again, it was a good game. They deserved to win. I mean, it's one of them games where either team could have won, and the other team would be like, "Yeah, man, it was a good game." But it's always nice to win that game.
Oh yeah. So it's good. It's always nice for Jerome not to root for you, right?
That is usually the case when it comes to Utah. Yeah. Unfortunately,
both their losses came on my hands.
Yeah.
We went opposite last week. They won, so. It must be a thing. It has to be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why Jerome could never pick Utah, right? But it is what it is.
It is insane. I really don't get. No, but really, and I said this last week. Like without the bias of my my hex on them for some reason.
Your bad luck.
My bad luck, jinx, hex, whatever you want to call it. I really thought USC had it. Jordan Adderley did get injured in the game, so that didn't help them.
Right.
Their best receiver. But, I mean, I really did think, Utah had the firepower to keep up with them, and they did, actually, but their defense let them down. And on both sides, though. And then it was just scoring that 2-pointer for Ryerson just was the difference in the game. So it was a good game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this as if it was a bad game. It was definitely a good game. And I'm happy for Utah. I like Utah. So happy they won. I just gotta make sure I don't root for them. Well,
don't pick them. Yeah, exactly.
There you go. All right, let's get to another one. Syracuse versus NC State, right? That was another good game. What do you think about that one?
I think Syracuse is playing well for their coach, who had been on the hot seat most of last year. Yeah. So they did a good job. They won a game. I think they're undefeated still. So good for Syracuse.
6-0 right now.
That Devin, the quarterback for NC State, didn't play. So I think that kind of strangled them a little bit. But again, man, Syracuse deserved to win the game, so they did.
Yeah, Syracuse defense is really good. I mean,
their defense is really good.
His name is Devin Leary, by the way.
Yeah, Devin Leary. Yeah.
Their defense is good, man, and that's the part that that's showing out for me. Shout out to our guy Michael Jones, man. He's a guy that we interviewed a while ago. He's balling out on defense, doing really good stuff there. I really like his game, and he had a sack in that game as well. So shout out to him. But yeah, this team is doing some great stuff. Now their quarterback did have 2 interceptions, which could have cost the game. But like I said, the defense is holding it down for them. Let NC State only get 9 points, and they're rolling. So I like this team. I can't sit there and act like I think they're going to be a sleeper team that people need to watch out for. But they're a good team. They're actually really fun to watch. Actually,
They are. They have a good running game. Sean Tucker had a nice game. They had 180 yards rushing. They have Rondé Gadsden Jr., who, if you're a Dolphins fan, his father played for the Dolphins. So, good football player. His son is actually a more polished, better route runner than his old man was.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a really good game. 140 for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He is. So the team itself is just a fun, exciting team to see how, a lot of I could be wrong on this, but I felt like a lot of those players that went to Syracuse was very underrated. So it's really fun to see how that they're undefeated right now. They're filling themselves, and they're doing some great stuff. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get to our next segment. This one, and you guys already know we're doing our predictions. And Ray, we both went 6-5, so not the greatest record.
Yeah.
It's a winning record, but not great.
Ugly.
A couple of misses on, Alabama, Mississippi State, USC, so that kind of hurt us a little bit. But they were all good games, I believe.
Yeah, they were decent games.
Yeah, so that will put our record at a tie again. So, Ray, you still 1 point up on me. I don't know what to say. You're doing some good stuff though. 62 for 80, 28. That's really good record right there. I believe it's over 70%.
Last week kind of hurt me. I didn't like it at all. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, and we was on the same boat, man. It's funny because we had like maybe like 4 opposite team games, and it kind of went back and forth. So we tied again.
We split on them. Yeah.
Yep. We definitely split on them.
I was sweating on Saturday because I was actually behind in all 4 at one time.
What was that?
I was behind on all 4 of them games at one time.
Yeah, I seen that because all right, let's look at it. So it was the TCU versus Oklahoma State. That game was last minute win for TCU.
It was.
We had the Minnesota Illinois game. I got that one.
Mm-hmm.
Which one did you have? You got the LSU Florida game. That was a close one. So like we said this every week, man. Every time me and Ray kind of go against each other, they're good games. So definitely
they usually are. I didn't like going 6-5, man. That was ugly.
No, I agree. I was like, what is this going on? Like this is probably one of our worst records in a while.
Worst one for me in a long time.
Yeah. So it was pretty bad. But hey, Alabama lost, so Avery.
Yeah, after the way Notre Dame played, man, not going to get much of a smile out of me.
I hear you. Yeah, both of my teams are on buys this week, Eagles and Michigan.
Oh, what a shame.
But yeah, let's get to our week 8 predictions, Ray. So let's get right to it. All right, so we're gonna start off with Kansas versus Baylor, Ray. Who you got?
I'm taking Baylor in that game.
Yeah, I'm looking for the line now for you.
8. 8 points.
Ooh, it moved. It definitely moved. As I say, each week I do these on Monday. Try to get the closest games or more, good games that I think is going to be good also. And sometimes these things just move on me. They just move on me. Kansas first. I think I'm going to do Baylor too. I'm not too fond on Kansas at all, honestly. I'd rather pick Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care one way or the other about Kansas. I don't really care one way or the other about Baylor either, but
yeah,
they're at home. They're giving up 8 points, so I'll take them to at least win the game. So
100%. The whole time I still haven't found that line, but trying to see if it's different from.
I have 8 points, so And I just looked it up today.
Gotcha.
I just checked these lines today. Most of them stayed the same. That's why, you know, it's funny. The best week I had was the week when we did the picks on Friday.
Oh yeah. That's true.
That was the week I went like 10-1.
That's true.
Because I saw how the lines moved from like Monday to Friday.
Yeah, definitely.
So
yeah, for some reason I'm not getting these. Yeah, I'm not getting better.
Texas,
idea. But anyway,
they're favored by 8. I looked it up this afternoon. So
gotcha. Okay, I'm taking your word for it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next game. West Virginia versus Texas Tech. We got right.
I'm taking Texas Tech. I mean, they're like 6.5 points. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Tech too. I like them. They're a good team.
They are.
I actually like West Virginia too. I think they're a solid team.
I do, and I think Texas Tech has not played consistently all year, but they do have a better roster, so I'll take that.
No, definitely. All right. Next game, let's go to LSU versus Ole Miss. Last time I looked at that was a pick 'em, so I'm trying to look for that too.
I have LSU as a 2-point favorite at home.
Okay. So you got.
I'm taking Ole Miss though. I think Ole Miss is a better team.
Yeah.
If they were home, I would take them hands down without a doubt. But I'll take them. So.
All right. I'm going Ole Miss as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I just can't do LSU this year.
I can't. They're not a good team, but yeah. I mean, we'll see.
Definitely. All right. Wisconsin versus Purdue. Wisconsin is at home. They're favored by 5.5. I'm sorry, 5.5, 2.5. Who you got right there, Ray?
I'm taking Purdue in that game.
Man, I don't like that we're picking the same teams. I'm picking Purdue as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always like Wisconsin. They're just not that good this year. Not as good.
Not a good team, and they're not a physical team, which is what really surprises me about Wisconsin. So,
correct. All right, we got a pretty good game here. We got Texas versus Oklahoma State. Texas is favored by 6.5 away. Who you taking, Ray?
I'm going to take Texas in the game.
All right, I'm actually taking Oklahoma State.
All right.
So this will be the first time I'm going against you for this week. Reason why is that Texas is a good team, but they're so like hot and cold sometimes. I feel
they
like
are. Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma
State is probably a little faster.
Yeah.
I think Texas's defense is a little better, so I'll take the better defensive team. So
yeah, I mean, man, now I'm rethinking it because I really like Robinson in this game. I think he can have a really good game in this game.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna. I'm gonna keep it for now. I'm gonna keep it. I'll keep it.
I got you.
Don't tell. I'm not confident in that game. I don't like that line.
I'm not crazy about the game either. I mean, Texas is given 6.5 away.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling the line, but I think they should probably have enough to keep Oklahoma State from getting too many points. So we'll see.
Definitely. I agree. All right. The battle of the West. UCLA versus Oklahoma. I'm sorry.
Oregon.
Oregon. We just talked about Oklahoma. Yes, UCLA versus Oregon. Oregon is at home. Number 9 versus 10. Oregon is favored by at home. Who are you taking, Ray?
I'm taking Oregon in the game. This is another game where I really don't like either one of these teams that much.
Yeah.
But I'll take Oregon. They're home. Probably don't win the game. I would take UCLA if I were playing the line, but I'll take Oregon to win the game. So
yeah. This one is definitely hard, Ray. And it's another one I don't really like that line. Man. You said you're taking UCLA. I mean Oregon, right?
I took Oregon. Come on, man. Your buddy Chip is on the other side of there. Come on.
Oh, don't see you. Yeah, I was just about to pick him, and then you said Chip Kelly's name. I'll still pick him though. I'm only doing it because you picked Oregon, honestly, and I just want to do something.
UCLA.
UCLA. I'm sorry. I'm picking UCLA since You taking Oregon?
Yeah, cool.
Another game I just don't like. UCLA's looking pretty good, and I like their running game and their defense. So
yeah, I like the running game too.
yeah, so I'm gonna take UCLA, and
Okay.
Chip Kelly's going against his old team, so he might want to pull out the stops for this one.
It's a big game for him for sure.
Yeah,
He's getting a lot of ink this week, so good for him.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. All right, Texas A&M versus South Carolina, right?
I'm taking Texas A&M. Again, not a game I'm crazy about, but I'll take Texas A&M.
Yeah. I'm looking for the game now.
Texas A&M is a 3-point favored away. South Carolina's at home, so
Yeah. I don't know why I can't find the game today. It's just weird. Yeah, it's not showing up for me. But anyway, Texas A&M versus South Carolina. I will be taking Texas A&M as well. I think I like that team better.
all right.
There it is. Yeah, their favorite away by 3. South Carolina's home. Yeah, I'll do the same, Ray. I'll take
All right.
Texas A&M.
All right.
All right, here we go. TCU versus Kansas State, right? Who you got?
I'm taking TCU. Again, not a game that I'm really crazy about, but they're home. They're favored by 3.5. I'll take them. I mean,
I'll go K-State, and again, like Ray said, very close game. Very close. Not crazy about this line or this game. It's basically a half-point difference, honestly. So you
yeah.
could go either way with this one. I think I'm gonna go Kansas State. My boy's over there. I think he's gonna be doing some great stuff, and Deuce. So I'm gonna go that way. Pitt versus Louisville. Right, who you got on that one? Louisville is favored at home by 2.5.
I'm going to take Pitt. I mean, I think the fact that they're only favored by 2.5 at home, some lines only 2.
They're you're saying Louisville being
Louisville is favored by 2.5 at home.
Mm-hmm.
Some lines are only given 2 points. I think Pittsburgh's a more physical team, so I'll kind of go lean that way. But again, another game I'm not really crazy about, to be honest with you. So
definitely. All right, and let's go. Penn State versus Minnesota. My line currently says 4 for Penn State. They are home. I actually had them at 4.5. By Monday, so the point went down for them. Right, who you taking in this one?
I'm taking Penn State. I think they'll bounce back and at least win the game.
No, I'm actually surprised. I thought you was gonna say Minnesota in that one.
I am a PJ Fleck fan. I think he's a good coach, but I think that Penn State is a better team, and I think they'll bounce back after a rough game against Michigan last week. So,
no, I agree. I agree with that actually. So, we'll say I mean, Michigan made their defense look like it wasn't as good as it was, and their defense is actually really good. So, I feel like that was just them getting out coached and overthinking the running thing, I guess. I don't know. They never bad at running the running games.
Their defense played very undisciplined in the second half.
Yeah.
I think they get a little tired because Michigan kept pounding at them and really couldn't do anything on offense. So that didn't help them out either. So,
Correct. Definitely. So definitely looking forward to that, man. All right, Ray. That'll be our prediction for this week. We got 1, 2,
3 different
games. 3 games different, man. So I don't think there's any way we could tie now, right? 3 games. No. Yeah. So
no.
All right. So one of us gonna have either you're gonna be 2 points ahead of me, or we're gonna be tied up in the total points again. So
we will see.
Looking forward to it. Yeah. All right. All right, cool. So let's get to our last segment, and this is one of my favorite segments, man. I left this just for you, Ray, because I love you, man. Ray rants. So we got Ray rants.
You're not gonna love my rant this week, man. You're not gonna like it. Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. You told me it didn't have to be college football. You tell me it didn't have to really be football, but it's going to be football. It's going to be how I get a lot of criticism about how I underrate the cornerback position. And
You do.
They're not football players, man. They're prima donnas.
All right.
Okay?
I'll allow it. Go ahead. I'll let you talk.
I swear to God, they get a toenail hurt and they don't play. Byron Jones has been out the whole year. He wasn't even supposed to miss any practices, and he's missing out the whole year. I'm paying my corners like $20 million, $25 million between them, and I can't get them on the field at the same time. I mean, I'm so cornerbacks. Cornerbacks.
All right. Fun fact for you, Ray.
Here we go.
Fun fact.
Good.
The 2 years that the Eagles had the best corners in the league, both years this year we're undefeated, and the last year we went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, we lost to Tom Brady in that one, but we went to the Super Bowl, and we're doing really well this year, and we have a top defense this year. And I predicate that on the corners because Bradbury been playing insane, and Darius Slade been playing insane. They both have, I believe, 3 interceptions each. And then if you watch that Cowboys game, Bradbury was the reason that we won on defense because he caused not 1 but 2 interceptions.
Yeah, man, and I'm not going to say nothing because we all know Darius Slade is a good football player, and Bradbury has played very good football this year.
Yeah.
But I will say, who are the quarterbacks you guys beat this year?
The quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Don't start sounding like the Cowboys fans, man.
I'm not a Cowboys fan, man. Name one good quarterback. Jared Goff was probably the best quarterback he has played this whole year.
Kirk Cousins is better than Josh.
Man, that's very, very debatable. But I'll give you that, I guess. The Minnesota one is probably the best one you guys had this year.
Terrence Lawrence. Yeah, I agree. Terrence Lawrence, we played him. He's solid. He had a rainy game too. Not making no excuses for rainy games, but he did have a rainy game. And he was turning us up at first. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, man. I don't play that. You played a weak schedule.
Yeah.
But I do believe that you didn't play any elite quarterbacks yet.
I give you that.
But I mean, the Eagles are 6, and I didn't get into this to get into, the Eagles. Like you were the one that brought up the cornerback. But yeah, man, I'm just going to say, like what you were texting me the other night, and what I tell you, I'm like, if I overdraft a defensive lineman, I'll still find a way to use him and get production out of him. When I overdraft a cornerback, I might as well draft a ghost. He's nowhere to be seen.
Eli Apple.
Eli Apple. Exactly.
Can't stand that guy.
Apple. I mean, my God, man. All that guy is stealing money. Stealing money.
Yeah, I mean, I give you that. It's like when you
might as well carry a gun and a blindfold in his back pocket. I mean, stealing money, man.
I give you that though, right? When they are bad, they're really bad, and they usually get overpaid.
The thing about Byron Jones is, and he's underneath my crawl right now because at first he wasn't going to miss any preseason games, and here's what happened: he got word that Miami was trying to trade him, so he got all butthurt about it, and then decided to have an operation, and now he's MIA.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just
good.
We always go around about corners, man, because unless I'm getting a true elite cornerback, I'm not touching him to a 3rd round.
Yeah, but I think it does make a difference when you do actually had good ones. I mean, it's changing the way that the Eagles defense is playing. I mean, I'm using Eagles as a example because they're one of the best defenses in the league right now.
You remember that whole tenure of Andy Reid, Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent, Leon Shepard, Shelton Brown, elite corners.
Yeah, and always had great defenses because
and all them Super Bowl rings you guys won, all that.
Stop. You know this is the offensive league, man. You already know that. I mean, I don't care how many good corners you have. There's always going to be an offensive league. So
Dude, and Andy Reid is a very good offensive mind. You can't doubt that.
Yeah, but he had very bad offensive, honestly, considering like even with his Donovan days, like he was getting by with what he had, but like look at the receivers Donovan had all that time. Like
Yeah, well, he didn't
we
have.
had a Westbrook that was always injured. I love Westbrook, don't get me wrong, but he was always injured. I mean, look at the tight ends that Donovan worked with, L.J. Smith and Brent Selleck, who I actually really like Brent Selleck, but Brent Selleck
Was good. Who was the white guy they had before him? He was good too.
I know. I was kept trying to mention him, and I keep forgetting his name.
He's good, man. Like
I had his jersey actually.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. You know where you win games in the trenches, man.
Yeah.
You have elite offensive lines. You're going to win games.
And honestly, I think that helped Andrew Reid because he always had very good offensive lines as well.
Because he valued offensive linemen. Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Miami, the Dolphins are in a situation they're in right now because they draft that offensive lineman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple.
My
only point has always been this. If I have a choice between taking an elite front defensive or offensive lineman or corners or wide receivers, I'm taking the lineman. That's all.
I understand. Understandable, man.
Yeah, that's all.
We could definitely rant about that all the time, but I do want to mention something that we said we're gonna rant about this week. That quarterback. The quarterback calls on them quarterbacks, man.
What's that?
The calls on the quarterbacks.
What do you mean?
Roughing the passer.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that. You mean the fact you got to kiss Tom Brady before you put him on the ground?
I seen this video. It was a very old video, and it was Kevin Hart. And he was playing around, and he was reacting being a quarterback in the NFL. And they held him up, and they were about to put him down lightly, and he was like, "Oh, wait!" They gave him a pillow, and they put him down like, "Oh, wait!" And they gave him a blanket. That is pretty much what we're going at this point.
It's funny because last week, the week before, Troy Aikman made a remark about you need to take the skirts off the players now, and then he had to recant his statement because I guess somebody in the league went after him. So I mean, yeah, man, it's this simple. I know you want to protect the players, but you keep protecting the players too much, you're hurting the product.
I agree. I just think that and I get it, the quarterback getting all this money. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is getting $500 million at this point. So I get it. I understand they make the most money. You want to keep them on the field as much as you can, but that play was horribly called. If you look at it, and this is why I hate to add more replay into the game, but if we're gonna call bad plays like this, we need to. We just have to, because if you look at it, and I forgot who was the defender that had the ball. He tackled him. The ball came out, and he grabbed the ball in the other hand, which automatically take off your balance. So he's going to naturally kind of roll over Tom Brady because he's trying to get the ball. Like, I don't understand how that was such an egregious call. And the fact that Tom Brady's over here looking for a flag, like, whoa, like, that's why I can't stand him. I'm sorry. I just can't stand him because he does stuff like that.
Why? Because he's just a crybaby?
Yeah. he
what really do you expect? And he went to Michigan.
Come on, dude. We was having such a nice conversation.
We were having a nice conversation. I'm only kidding, Jerome. Like, yeah, man. Well, you know what? Honestly, that's when it happens when you have a guy who, everybody considers the greatest of all, like the greatest player to ever play the position. He thinks he's
entitled that he
exactly. He thinks he should get every call.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's crazy.
It's like when Magic Johnson played and like he never fouled anybody in his whole life. That's how he acted. He acted like he never fouled anybody because he's Magic Johnson. I mean, like, you guys get that mentality that, I don't make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
If I fumbled the ball, then somebody must have done something wrong to me.
Yeah.
Man, you're never going to get me to decide with Tom Brady. It's never going to happen.
I'm the same.
I do not like the guy, man. I don't question that he's a great player. I never will. I mean, it'd be stupid to anyway at this point, but I just can't stand Tom Brady. It's that simple. I want him to go away. I've wanted him to go away for years now.
He needs to retire.
He does. I mean,
his team is looking really bad right now, which is weird.
They've had some injuries like everybody else. There's a lot of teams that have had some injuries right now.
I don't like injury stuff.
No, I don't.
Eagles having injuries, man. You seen that Dallas Cowboys game? We had like 4 key injuries. The guy that got the interception had a broken hand when he's playing with a cast on his hand. So I don't want to hear that.
No, I think that Tom Brady is he should retire.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I think, and here's the other thing, and like maybe we'll do this rant later on. Should the NFL stop Thursday night football games? Because I honestly think they should. I really do.
Stop what?
Not have Thursday night football games anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean it's looking bad. One, they're not picking great teams. I mean the teams.
Well, that's the number. That's the biggest problem. Here's the other thing. You don't give them enough time to prepare to have a good game, and you're telling me you're worried about guys getting hurt, and then you're asking them to play like a game 4 days after they just got done playing.
Yep.
So isn't that going to lend to them guys getting hurt? Didn't that help? Didn't that help with Tua?
Yeah, and it doesn't allow people to regenerate their bodies.
It doesn't. Like,
so, like you get more people. You get more people that are either banged up and still playing, or they're more people being out. Let's say 2 weeks ago when Indianapolis played, Jonathan Taylor didn't play. I mean, I'm sorry, tomorrow's game actually. Wait, when the Colts play? Tomorrow, right?
No, last week.
Last week. I mean, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he didn't play because he was banged up. You know, it's
again, you're not giving teams time to prepare, bodies time to heal. I mean, like it's time to do away with them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do that, I will say maybe have. I mean, even that's not good. I was gonna say maybe have those teams play early on Sunday or something. I don't know. I like the concept of Thursday night football because we get an extra week. I mean, extra game.
I don't want because
it's like
I would rather watch college football. I would rather watch college football on Thursday.
I give you that. Yeah. No, exactly.
I would. I absolutely would. I mean, it's just a better product.
Yeah.
You can't ask these guys that are professional athletes to go out there 4 days after they just got done playing a game. And yeah, man, like Miami played that Buffalo game, and that was a physical football game. It really was. And really it helped them set up to lose the next 3 games because that game was so physical. And then they went out and played that Thursday night against Cincinnati, and that was a physical game. And then they're still recruiting from that 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And I know I sound like a crying fan, and I am, but it's just not a good product. It's not. It's just like it's not. They're not fun games to watch. I mean, I think it was like last week or week before Seattle loses 9-12. I mean, that's horrible football. That's setting football back 30 years. What are we doing?
That game was horrible. Oh my goodness. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help when the network itself seems like they're trying too hard too.
They are.
They are trying so hard. It's just like they're trying to do all this flashiness and this and that. It doesn't fit like football. It doesn't fit. Like it just feels weird anyway. So
it doesn't. It's not
I'm not a fan of Amazon right now. Honestly, the games they're pitting on is not great games. And like we said, they're not getting the best quality because the players are not playing to their best potential because they're still sore or,
I agree with you. The crazy thing about it is that, again, it's just not a good product. It's just not. It's not a good game. They're never good games. And even when they happen to be a decent game, it's just for some like if you watch the games, there's never a good Thursday night game.
Maybe they should do whoever's playing on Thursday should get the bye the week before. And I know that's not going to work out in the beginning of the season. But
it's not going to work because it's hard to schedule the games that way. So, I mean, I don't know the answer except for just don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you backed it up to make it Friday, that might make it a little better. I mean, I don't know exactly, especially if they play early Sunday, then maybe then two of them teams play the next Friday.
Yeah.
What bothers me is when Tua had the injury and Mike McDaniel said we didn't even get a chance to see him throw the ball all week because we had like 3 days and it was like walk through, I mean, so you had a guy out there who had a back injury supposedly, and he didn't even get a chance to throw the ball. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. Miami made the mistake of playing him. They shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Just lend yourself to decisions that don't make sense, basically.
This is the thing I'll say about Friday night games is that I like the idea, but like you think about how people kind of work and Friday's usually their last day of work.
Here's the thing. Would you rather stay up late Thursday to watch a game or Friday?
It depends. Honestly, Friday, like usually Friday on work is usually like the most laid back day of the week. And some people get up early on Fridays, you know what I mean? So I get that, but Friday nights, usually people go out on Friday nights. Friday and Saturday nights, and I see why they don't really pick games on those nights.
Wouldn't that be a better way? Because like you said, like I've only watched one Thursday night game the whole year. That was the Dolphins game because it's my team.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch it because they were playing Cincinnati. I wanted to watch it. And if it's not my team, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
But if you put it on Friday night and there's not a whole lot on, I'll watch that.
I got you. Yeah, because like even with like they putting the games on Saturdays, they usually don't do well unless it's like a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the idea of playing any football game on Saturday that isn't college. But that's just me.
I agree.
Again, I'm a weird guy because I actually enjoy college football more than the NFL. So I know I'm a strange guy with that because most people won't say it.
I hear a lot of people say the same thing, especially down here in Georgia, right?
Oh, of course.
A lot of people, rather.
SEC country, man. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I just think, like, again, isn't it about putting the best product on the field?
100%.
And Thursday games do not lend for that. That's all.
Yeah. No, I understand. Well, guys, that's going to do it for us today, man. Please make sure you follow us on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find that at the QR code right over there, right, if you don't mind assisting. There you go. Hit that QR code. Make sure you go follow us on all social media. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and everything like that. If you want to go on live with us, please make sure you hit that notification bell like our guys Ray and Remy. We appreciate that. And Chris as well. We appreciate everybody that comes on and do your live comments. But if you miss us on live, you can go to our YouTube channel, YouTube/Inside the Hatches, and you can put a comment on right under our podcast, and we'll definitely interact and talk back with you guys. We do it every week. So make sure that you go in there and be answering any questions. If it's college football, NFL football, fantasy football, whatever. If it's football related, we will answer it. So make sure you put that in our comment sections below. Thank you guys for checking us out. We appreciate everybody that's on here. Thanks again, and we see you next week. My teams are on bye this week, so I don't know what I'm going to do. But I don't know what NFL team I'm going to watch, but we'll see. See you guys. Y'all have a good one.
Hey, guys.